a webinar where I can't see people. Normally I'm doing sessions where I can see everybody's faces, or at least some people. So it's a little bit strange for me. You'll have to bear with me. I really appreciate you taking the time. I was really overwhelmed by the reaction to the other day or 2 days ago. I penned that quickly as I was going into a board meeting. I've been building something for the last year and I haven't told many people about it. So I was quite overwhelmed when over 500 people messaged me and wanted more information. I'm going to spend maximum half an hour with you, probably 20 minutes. I'm going to start with an introduction, tell you who I am. I appreciate some of you know me through LinkedIn and following me there, and just tell you a little bit about myself, and then tell you all about the CV program that I've been building and the other pieces around that. At the end of the session, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get involved. So do stay till the end, and then everything will be clear, and all the links and details and everything you need. Okay, so about me. I'll start with the personal, because we're all people at the end of the day. My name's Richard. Actually, everybody calls me Rich. You're very welcome to call me Rich. I am British, as you can probably hear, but I've worked pretty globally. I've run businesses globally, helped organizations hire in over 100 countries. So everything I share is very globally applicable. I live in the UK. I have 3 kids. So anybody who is a parent to youngish children, multiple children, knows that juggle well. So I live with my wife, and then we have 3 kids between ages of 5 and 10. We have a little dog called Lola who keeps us busy too. I spend half my life in London and then half my life working from home. So that's a bit about me. And most of you will know me for founding a business called Move Me On. So Move Me On's unique because we set it up from what we wanted as professionals. We started our careers in consulting, but it really could have been anything. And we just found that we really lacked really solid career advice from experts, and also an easy way to discover new opportunities that were really interesting to us. So 15 years ago, or over 15 years ago, with my co-founder, Nick, who has been a huge rock of building what we've been building in the last couple of years on the career advisory side, we started Move Me On. And through that journey, we've worked with 5,000 different organizations worldwide, helping them to hire. And what that means is I've got a very, very unique perspective of having worked in roles like you, and then helped over 5,000 people navigate their careers and land new roles successfully in a whole myriad of organizations. So everything from the biggest multinationals to the smallest startups, working for yourself as a freelancer, fractional, boutique consultings, big consultings, whatever you are thinking about in terms of organization size and scale, we've done it, and that's incredibly unique. Right, that's all about me and my background. I, in a panic this morning, thought I'd create a little presentation just to bring some of this to life. So let me share that with you now. Okay, and you have to excuse my very basic PowerPoint skills. It's black and it's white. So this is the start point. So a couple of years ago, I was working with a coach. I love coaches. They're fantastic. They ask really, really, really difficult questions. And my coach gave me the observation that no coach can do what you can do, Rich. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, as a coach, you can't advise people. It's not part of the coaching discipline, but also I just don't have the experience. I've not worked with 5,000 organizations worldwide. I've not got 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. I don't have the experience to give people the practical, tactical advice that really works, that they need. I can help them work on inner conflict, resolve issues, go through very deep and meaningful questions, but I can't give them the advice and the quality and the expertise that you have. And then the second thing she said to me is, you clearly love doing it. You're doing it all the time through your LinkedIn, I reply to every single message that people send me. And she said, I think you need to dedicate time to doing this properly and helping more people. So that was my start point. And ever since then, I've been on a mission to make expert career advice truly, truly accessible. And I'll come back to exactly what I mean by that in terms of truly accessible. So as I said, I've worked for over 15 years in the space of supporting people in their careers, 5,000 organizations, seniorities right up to CEO. So everything I advise on has no seniority limit. A lot of the fundamentals apply at very senior levels of your career. Career services pick my brain. So you won't know this, not many people do, but many of the business schools worldwide, larger consulting firms that have alumni and career service offering, will get in touch with me and have a regular call to get my advice on questions they're being asked. So things like, we've got a growing number of people interested in joining startups and smaller businesses. How do they go about doing that? Lots more people want to work for themselves or as a freelancer or a fractional. Like, what advice should we give? So fundamentally, what I'm about is giving you answers, not questions. We'll come on to the difference between advisory and coaching. I love coaching. It's fantastic. I work with a coach. I get a huge amount of value. It's not advice. They go really well hand in hand. So really getting a solid understanding of yourself, supported by a coach, and then being able to power up your action plan through advice. They're both brilliant. They're very, very, very different things. So what I'm here to give you is things that I know work, cheat sheets, shortcuts, how to do things really well. And we're going to jump into the CV resume element of that in a moment. So everything I aim to give you is realistic. It's grounded in nearly 20 years of my experience, and people often say I look about 15. I'm not. I'm in my 40s. Quite glad to look 15 maybe in 20 years time, but I might be older than you think. So it's realistic. It's based on the reality. It's not theory. It's not what somebody thinks might work. It's what works given my experience. It's actionable. Everything I do, I want you to know what you're going to do tomorrow and how you're going to make that change. And it's deeply, deeply tactical. Planning careers, maneuvering careers, particularly when you're outside of professional services, where it's not clear what the ladder is. It's highly political at times. You need to be deeply, deeply tactical and intentional around your moves. So that's the advice I seek to always give people. And fundamentally, I want people to feel confident, supported, and I was going to say momentum full, but I'm not sure that's a word. So, and a lot of people I've worked with say that this is how they feel: increased confidence, fully supported, and that they're able to build momentum with whatever they're trying to do in their career, be that move up through the organization where they are, be that land a new job, be that start to look for a new job, or maybe even do a total career pivot into a new industry or new type of job. So realistic, actionable, and tactical, designed to make you feel confident, supportive, and momentum full. I'm a very real person. If you work with me, there's no veneer, there's no corporateness about it. And what that means is people send me how they're feeling about how we work together. I know in my post on LinkedIn, I took out a few snippets, so I won't repeat those. But there's a couple of emails I received, which I think worth just sharing with you. So On Up Beyond is what I call my career advisory, and a chap called Matt said, "You're an expert in your two audiences, job seekers and hiring managers. Your empathy for both roles shine through. The quality content to time ratio is like nothing I've ever seen. I get so much out of each session, and I walk away energized, excited, and inspired to work on my job search." Matt by the way, is very senior in his career. So this is somebody who is probably entering the absolute peak of his career as it stands now. The new CV resume format is a particular game changer. I've never really understood how effectively to tailor. It was something I knew I should do, but I didn't have the skills, context, etc. to do it. Interestingly, quick aside, I did have my resume looked at over the summer. He went to a resume rewriting service. The place came highly recommended, and they were awful. All in for their services, I spent about as much money on them as I did the entire boot camp. So there's some stuff from Matt. Another one here, shorter one. I've been offered the job that I wanted as the UK country head for blanked it out. I just want to say thank you again for the boot camp and all your wisdom. You not only definitely helped me identify and get offered a job that I really want, but you also helped me actually enjoy the whole process of making a career change. So that's what I'm about. Let me talk to you about what I've been doing in the last year, because it's been pretty much a secret. So I've worked in a career advisory capacity with over 1,000 people very successfully. However, that's left thousands left out. So earlier in this year, I ran something called a career move boot camp. So when Matt and the other gent refer to boot camp, that's what they mean. I decided to do it with 10 cohorts of around 20 people. I had over 1,000 people try and subscribe to do it. So well over 800 of those people were left out. Necessarily working in a group or a one-on-one format is incredibly expensive. So what I set about doing for the rest of this year was making something that is truly accessible. So expertise that is not financially inaffordable and in a way on demand. So when I say 75K, the only other organization I know in this space, they focus on very senior people being exited from organizations to give them career advice. So practical, tactical advice. They charge £75 for their services. So where I say truly accessible, I want to be expert, no compromise in quality, but something that pretty much anybody can afford and see a massive return on investment. To give you an example, there was a lady called Rachel who worked with me on the boot camp. She used my compensation negotiation and has come back and said, because of the investment in the boot camp, I have had a 20% uplift in the offer that I was made for a new job. So the return on investment has been 100x already. Great, that's exactly what I want to deliver. Quick thanks. I don't work alone. I'm highlighting 2 people here. I work with a big team. I've already said thanks to my co-founder Nick, who runs our hiring business and Move Me On. So Rossiana is absolutely instrumental to everything we've been building, to you being able to join this webinar today. Huge thanks. And then on the left there, Matthew Wright. Matthew used to run Russell Reynolds, which is one of the world's largest and most respected executive search firms. Matt has been instrumental in helping create this content, and he also joins to supply his advice as well. So they're just 2 people I really wanted to bring to the fore. Okay, changing gear. 15 minutes left. CV resume. I think this is probably the most important document you write. I was thinking, is that in your career or is it in your life? It's certainly right up there. However, we're almost never taught to write them effectively. So I did a quick poll yesterday after I shared my update the day before, and I just said, look, when was the last time you were taught what a resume is and how to do it? 80% of people had no recent advice, i.e. no advice after they've left business school or university. 40% of people have never had any in-depth advice at all. And it just struck me that it's one of the most important things you can ever learn how to write, and yet we're not teaching people how to do it effectively. That's all the more true for people who are experienced. And the problem with resumes and CVs is, as you become more experienced in your career, you collect all these skills and experiences, and your resume can just get longer and longer and denser. And that can cause people real issues, because the CV or resume, I'm a Brit, I say CV, resume, same thing, is not a chronology of your career. So in my boot camp, which people paid thousands to do, that was the only way we could make it happen sort of commercially and scalably. Most people came in with this definition. If I said, what's your definition of a CV? They said, oh, it's a chronology of my career. It's, you know, what I've done, you know, in sort of date order. A CV is a tool to get you to interview. It's a huge mindset shift that I take you through during this program. Where I start in the program is with your audience. It is a deep understanding of the behaviors people exhibit when they're sat in a room deciding who to put in the yes pile and who to put in the no pile. And I've literally sat, particularly pre-COVID, in rooms, in hiring managers' offices with printed CVs when they go yes and then go no. And I've sat and I've challenged them and said, why have you said no to that person? And they said, well, they just don't have the skills and experience we need. And I would get my highlighter pen out and say, they do, you just haven't noticed it or seen it. So everything I've built is grounded in the reality of how people make decisions when they're looking at your application. The fundamentals are exactly the same. So a few of you have said you're in different countries or certain seniorities or professions. The fundamentals are exactly the same wherever you are globally. I've had people in over 100 countries work with me from a career advisory perspective. So the fundamentals are exactly the same. Just some more feedback specifically on the CV course. This is similar to what I shared on LinkedIn. I've had well over 200 people pay to do the course in this format. Everybody I've worked with, so the 1,000+ have done this method with me. So it's really tried and tested. And many of those have gone on to make successful job moves quite quickly, if that's the focus of your move right now. So let me dive in. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share a login and show you around. So On Up Beyond has a login, and within that ecosystem is where I build all my career advisory support. So this is the CV course. There are 24 modules in this course. Now, don't be scared. They're bite size. However, that is the level of the depth of my expertise when it comes to this document. I want everybody to come out feeling absolutely confident that you can construct a powerful CV for the rest of your career. I don't believe in CV rewriting services, right? I believe in you understanding how to do it really powerfully for the rest of your career. So we start with understanding your audience, right? And just to dig into a little bit of detail on this one. Every module has a video. This one's actually 30 minutes long. This is the longest. This is real kind of where you need to make that mindset shift. And I dig into the 10 hiring manager behaviors that, through all my time spent with people making hiring decisions, underpin their behavior as they look at CVs. So spend very little time on recruitment. I scan in an F shape, so you can see the 10 there. So that's where we start, with understanding the audience and what those implications are for the construction of the CV. I then zoom into the core method. So we have an overview. We have before and after. I think there's about 10 different worked examples of people who've done this course successfully in the past, literally showing you what they started with and what they ended up with, talking you through what changed and helping you with that understanding of what yours might go on to look like. We go into a lot of detail around just length, number of pages, workout, format, layouts, 2 different ways to construct your CV, depending on if you're somebody who's had a squiggly career through different types of organizations, different types of job, or somebody who's had more of a linear career. And then we get into the absolute pillar, which is my repository document method. It's my IP, it's my own approach for how you can tailor a CV at speed. Third section, we do some deep dives. We zoom in on AI, so to how to leverage it for CV writing, and then the role of applicant tracking systems and automated screening within application processes. A deep dive on cover letters. I do a deep dive on career breaks. I'm quite often asked, I've had a career break, how do I frame that? Career breaks for many different reasons. I've got a module specifically on leaving consulting and professional services. A lot of my audience are sort of trained in those types of environments and might be at a point of their career where they're keen to move out into industry or startup. And then another deep dive on working as a freelancer or a fractional or an independent contractor. That's been a huge growing theme, particularly since COVID, of people wanting to work on their own. A bonus module that I've decided to include for you guys, LinkedIn. So we all have a LinkedIn profile. I talk you through how to optimize it, how to think about it, how to tie that together with your CV. And then a deep dive on the open to work badge. I get asked this question a lot. If you are open to work, actively looking for a job, maybe unfortunately been through a redundancy process, is this something you should display? And taking you through the considerations there. Everybody, I would love to give me feedback. There's always things I want to learn around what you found particularly valuable, where the mindset shift really came, and also anything else you would want me to add in. So that is a little deep dive within the CV, resume, and also, because I've included it as a bonus module, the LinkedIn course. However, I've been building some other things, and I want to take you through everything else that I've been building to help you to feel confident and to give you that tactical, practical advice. So CV resume is only one part of the puzzle. I've been quite secretive. I haven't been particularly public about doing this. Now is the time to let everybody know, and I want to make this truly accessible. No limit on the number of people who can come and get this support. So I have catalogued every single question I've ever been asked in a career advisory session, many of them as video recordings. So themes include how to move industry, how to change function. Let's say you want to move from strategy towards a more general management role, how to follow your passions, how to negotiate conversation, reaching the C-suite, joining startups, going fractional, making international moves, leveraging headhunters, standing out, non-executive director roles and chairpersonships, how to take stock of your career, etc. It goes on. For you guys, I've created what I think is probably the world's most comprehensive career advice video library. There are over 80 videos. I think it's 90 now. I add to them all the time. There are 15 core themes. As I said, I've recorded every question I've ever been asked by anyone. And what's interesting is there are only 15 themes of questions. So whilst you might feel like that question is very specific to you, I promise it's a question that a lot of other people have had, and I've given them solid advice before. And for many people, the advice is exactly the same. So that is there, ready to go for you guys to dig into. It's formed the foundation of all the career advisory support I give one-on-one, and I've given through my boot camps. However, I've gone further. I also do weekly sessions. This is where, so you have advice from my library, you have advice for the CV course, the LinkedIn module. You also have access to me personally. I have a direct feed. People can drop their questions in, and every week, I actually just did one before this webinar, we do a session. You can join it anonymously. You can listen into the recording. You can join it and not be anonymous. You can display your camera. It's totally up to you how you want to participate. But what you are getting is absolutely tailored advice, your specific question, direct from me, with a direct live feed where I share resources as well. All that gets recorded, it all gets catalogued, and it stays within your login, so you can access it for the period of your working with me. Go even further. I'm very blessed. I have a huge amount of expertise and advice from my career. However, I also have an amazing senior network, and I get those people to come and do guest speaker sessions. So we have an ever-growing library of video recorded in-depth sessions with CEOs, CXOs, founders, coaches, etc. Just to highlight Matthew, who I highlighted earlier. Matthew, a very senior person in exec search, one of the most respected people worldwide in the industry. He is also a serial chairperson at NED. I've done discussions with him on how to negotiate compensation. He has brokered compensation packages for hundreds of senior individuals throughout a 40-year career in the industry. He's been chair or NED of listed businesses, non-listed businesses, you name it. So we've done compensation, we've gone how to get into exec roles, etc., etc. However, just to share a little bit more flavor on guest speakers, this will come up in a second. I speak with CEOs. So great session with Cornelia. Cornelia runs a company called Stewart. She talks about being a CEO through different ownership, because she's worked for listed businesses, she's worked for private equity owned businesses, she's gone from the transition of Stewart from a business that was owned by a strategic industry player into private equity. I talked with Beltran, who you might know. Beltran is on LinkedIn, quite actively followed now, talks very candidly about consulting and post-consulting careers and general career advice. We've done 6 sessions together on hot topics. Rory moved, he used to run Corona for, so the beer brand Corona across Europe. He now is a leader in a startup. He decided he wanted to transition from a large business to a smaller business. Richard, I talked to Richard about leaving consulting as a partner. Karen runs a large piece of the British Airways business. I talked to her about life in a large corporate as CEO. The list really does go on. McLean is a real, he's a serial board member, board advisor, and he's made a portfolio career doing that senior level board work. So just to give you a flavour of the guest speakers that I've brought into the library as well. Okay, last but not least, we've gone one step further because we really want to make this truly accessible, and we have trained an AI version of me. You not only get access to me through those weekly sessions for specific advice direct from me, sat in front of my painting, you can also have Rich on tap in your pocket all the time. As I said, I've catalogued and recorded every bit of advice I've ever given. That is fed into our LLM, and that has all of my expertise and experience over 20 years. That's something we've been building, we're training, we continue to train, but it's in your back pocket all the time. And I think as we know now, AI is incredible so long as the source is trusted. And the key here is this career advice is coming directly from my expertise because I've catalogued it all over time. You can be anonymous or not. So for those live sessions, you can come and join me. You can tell me who you are. You can say vote, or you can be totally anonymous. I realize that making career transition is quite a private thing. Some people just don't want their colleagues to know or their boss to know, things like that. So it's totally up to you how you want to interact. I've built this, so everything you've seen today, career from CV, LinkedIn, through my video advice library, 90+ videos, guest speaker library, access to me every week, Rich AI, into a 6-month support and inspiration package. So you get me in your corner with all of my expertise and all of the experience of my guest speakers for 6 whole months. At the end, I'm going to tell you what it costs because it's an absolute shock that I'm doing it at this level, but I'm really passionate about not making this a blocker. Working with a coach, and although coach is not advisory, you know, that is a really meaningful multi-thousand investment, and this isn't. One step further, I've gone even deeper. Mentoring, feedback, coaching. Some people, alongside all of that advisory support, really benefit from doing one-on-one work. So we've built, again, absolute global first around how to get the right one-on-one support for you. We do 3 things. Firstly, we match you with a peer mentor. that is somebody who's at your seniority, thinking about the same career challenges and opportunities as you. It's actually very, very difficult to do. It's very difficult to find somebody who's going through exactly the same thing as you right now. They become your sounding board. You advise each other. Many of the people we've matched have become really, really great friends. But there's somebody that you could have a very objective, confidential conversation with as often as you like. Interestingly, it's helpful that they don't know you. So within your career, yes, it's helpful to get advice from friends and family, but it's also just really helpful to get objective advice, hold the mirror up advice from somebody who doesn't know you. Within this, I also do individual CV feedback. I find that videos are very effective for that. You send me the version of your CV resume that's come out of my course, and I will give you individual final polishing feedback one-to-one on that exact resume. And last but not least, one-to-one coaching. As I said, I'm a huge believer in coaching. At the right time, it's amazingly powerful. Not everybody needs it. And a lot of people come to us saying, oh, can I do coaching? And what they actually mean is, can I get your advice? However, for some people doing coaching, working one-on-one with a coach, I think it's great for working through like knotty problems, things you're struggling to resolve within yourself. Coaches ask you questions that help you build awareness. So we have built a trusted circle of about 40 fantastic coaches. It's very, very, very difficult to find a good career coach. How do you do it? You do it because we've done all the research for you. These are people who have worked with people that we recommend them to. We know they're great. We get feedback on them. They have an amazing track record of supporting specifically career clarity and confidence. And what you'll find with coaches, a lot of them really want to be doing leadership development work. However, they will do some career work because everybody needs to pay their bills. For these people, this is what they love to do, and this is what they have an amazing track record doing. So that's the full suite of what we've been building. Appreciate it is way beyond the CV and resume course that you initially kind of reached out about. However, CV and resume is just one part of the puzzle, and it's a tiny fraction of how I can help you. So I want to say a big thanks for your encouragement on LinkedIn. I couldn't believe how many people messaged me and jumped on that post. I'm really excited to be able to help a lot more people with this, and I'm excited to be, I guess, not in secret mode anymore. You're going to benefit from early bird pricing. You guys got in touch, you reached out, no one else knows about this yet, and I want you to benefit from that. Mission, make it truly accessible. So 6 months of support, everything we've covered, costs less than the typical cost of one coaching session. And by the way, if you go to find a coach, they're not going to advise you, and they're probably going to lock you into 6+ sessions. It's a multi-thousand investment. This is what somebody sent me. It's crazy good value, Rich. Massively underpriced, but I know you've got a strategy behind it. My strategy is simple. I want people to find this accessible. I don't want the cost to be a blocker. Then this person goes on to say, I'd pay more just for the peer buddy or peer mentor aspect. We have 3 levels. Foundation. Foundation is great for quickly sorting the fundamentals. It's the CV course, it's the LinkedIn course, and it's the career video library. And we also have momentum and elevation. And I'm going to go into what they do now. Because you encouraged me on LinkedIn, and I said I was looking for my next 200, I've created 233% discounts. So even though, per that email, many think this pricing is a bit crazy, I've gone even further, and I've made it cheaper for you today because of your encouragement on LinkedIn. I also really want you to see value here. So if you don't find it valuable, message us within 7 days, me or Rossiana, and we'll just give you your money back. I'm not in this to make a huge commercial empire. I'm in this because, going back full circle, my coach said, Rich, you've got amazing experience. You need people to be able to access it. And that can't be one-on-one because you've got 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, and you can't work one-on-one with 50,000 different people. So 6 months, all that expert guidance, CV course, LinkedIn course, rich AI, video library, guest speakers is just £400. £400, 550 US dollars, 470 euros. I work with people all around the world. It's relevant wherever you are. That's the investment that you need to make in yourself. How does this pay off? It pays off in spades. I've had people say, I've literally got 3 interviews within 10 days of revamping my CV, or I've negotiated a 20% uplift in my comp thanks to the tailored advice you gave me on compensation negotiation. These are our 3 packages. As you say, the RRP, the list price, is much higher. The £400 includes that 33% discount. Momentum is by far the most popular thing people opt into. As I said, people have been doing this. I just haven't been very vocal. I've been offering it to people who've reached out personally. This is the one that people love. They get that weekly access to me. They're in the live feed. Rich AI that we're building out at beta. All the guest speakers. Matt Wright ran Russell Reynolds for 40 years. Here's the discount code. Next step, that URL takes you to a page where you can buy any of our 3 packages. As I say, the elevation is the CV course plus the library plus the LinkedIn course that you didn't know about. Very good for a quick sort on fundamentals. Momentum is where most people start. It gives them that weekly access to me and the depth of everything else we've been building. I would love to welcome you. As I said, I've not done anything beyond that little LinkedIn post. I've never done a webinar before, but given just how many people were interested, I thought now's the time to reveal what I've been working on and how people have been benefiting from it. So that's live. You can go there now. As I said, that discount code is there for 200 people. I said I was looking for my next 200. I'm really keen to say thank you to early adopters and people who were encouraging me on LinkedIn. Discount code, it's not WeBin, it's webinar OUB on Up Beyond Early Bird. So hopefully all very clear. It's a 33% discount on any of those packages. Now, I would love to do this for free. However, I have 3 kids and a family support, so I can't do it for free. However, I'm really passionate that really solid career advice that doesn't exist around the world. Many business schools, career services of consulting firms pick my brain for this stuff. So I'm really, really, really passionate about getting that tactical, practical stuff into people's lives. But I'm also really passionate about not making it a multi-thousand ongoing investment. So head there on upbeyond.com/career advice. That's the landing page. You can pick your package. And as I say, if you come into Momentum, we do a live session every week. The next one's next Friday. You can drop in whatever questions you have for me. You get immediate access to that career video library. So there's 90 videos there. You'll probably find all the questions that are on your mind, or at least a lot of them already answered for you. You're straight into that CV resume package. You've got the guest speakers with people like Matt Wright telling you exactly how to leverage executive search firms, various CEOs, etc. So as soon as you sign up, it's all there. We get going. You've got the live feed to me. You can drop in your questions, and we'll cover those in our session next week, which you can, as I say, join anonymously, not join at all, and just listen into the recording. Behave as however you see fit. Thank you. That's how I want you to feel: confident, supported, momentum full. That's what I'm all about. I like to think me and Rossi are super approachable. As I say, we're not trying to build a big commercial empire here. We're real people trying to do something we're super passionate about. And I really appreciate you showing interest. If you don't want to pay for anything, if you thought this was going to be free, all of my career advice is free on LinkedIn. Do follow me. I have a newsletter. You're very welcome to all of my free content. But I'm really hopeful that particularly with that discount for you guys, this becomes a no-brainer, and we can start working together over the next 6 whole months. And with that, I will wish you farewell. Any feedback, any questions, we're on hand. You have our email addresses. That landing page on upbeyond.com career advice has a load of video explainers on it as well. Has a video explainer for the elevation package, the momentum package and the foundational package. So I'm hopeful that everything has either been answered today in the webinar or is on that page. And yeah, we're really looking forward to welcoming you. With that, have a fantastic weekend. And thanks again for showing your interest and your encouragement of this. I do really appreciate it.